ridiculously. I think 8 of the top 10 players were here on the Global Series rankings. You're then looking at multiple other differing sort of players in and around, big name FIFA players on the PlayStation, Shells, T-Mox, Marcuso, all making it to the latter stages of this competition. The Iceman, Nicolas, versus what some are saying, the entertainer in M10Ustun.
He's a bit of a goal machine, isn't he, Ustun? He will have to defend this. Kicking us off, it will be Nicolas from left to right, Ustun from right to left. So if you don't know much about both of these two players, Nicolas, #1 in the Global Series rankings, seems to love playing his FIFA here at Gfinity. Picked up the LQE January and the LQE March victory there, plus a FIFA E Club World Cup victory back in February. So it's safe to say he seems to thrive playing his FIFA in London. On the other side of that with Ustun, as he does take the first shot there. There's something about Ustun and Nicolas, isn't there? And they match up in tournaments. They match up in quarter-finals of tournaments. The last 3 times Ustun's been eliminated from events, it's been to Nicolas in the quarter-finals. He's looking to end the curse there with a nice little shot. Neuer tipping it around the post. But that's got to put on your mind that every time you come into a quarter-final against Nicolas, you've gone out of the tournament. Just as Manuel Neuer collects it there. A bit of goalkeeper movement to kick us off from Nicolas, where the original shot came in, went up for a corner, but you're definitely right. If the last 3 times you've matched up against this player in the knockout stages and you've lost, it's going to be in your mindset still, but you've got to eliminate that. Going in today, it's a new tournament. It's a different part of the year, it's a different month in the year. And as we know, Ustun has been playing so well as of late, but you're linking into Nicolas as well. A few cricketers there.
Yeah, really nice bit of skill move there from Nicolas. Almost taking a page out of Texas' book.
Ooh. A volley comes in as well at the front post from R9.
With a triple elastico inside the box.
I'm going to say, I thought I was watching Ustun there. It was elasticos coming in. We see normally Tex doing about 4 of them before he comes on the attack. Good to see Nicolas has got that side to his game as well. The player that still wants to strive forward, and you just feel like he wants to win a FUT Champions Cup, just to take him up to that next level.
Yeah, there's been the debate of the GOAT in FIFA and between Desari and Tex, who's the most dominant player. Nicolas on the PlayStation is by far the #1 player. There's no debate about that. There's no question about that. He's, I would even say, a tier above a lot of other players. Pina is sort of on the cusp. Joxan's on the cusp. But if he was to go on and win a FUT Champions Cup, Nicolas, there's no question that he has to be in the debate with Desari, with Tex. He's won 3 championships this year, 2 LQEs and a Club World Cup.
This attack does come in now from Nicolas. With Neymar does get dispossessed in the end. But the way I look at it as well, Richard, is that last year, before, if you take out the World Championship, before we even got to the Grand Finals, we think about the whole season, we think about Amsterdam, we think about Manchester and the playoffs. It was all about Nicolas.
Nicolas all the way,
The rumour that he only lost 11 games online at home, the rumour that, it wasn't really a rumour, it was a statement that he made every single cross-console final pretty much, as he does come in now with his first shot of the game, and it's going to be time green. Neymar will get us underway here in the quarter-final stages.
I feel like because he's not as vocal on social media, maybe the language barrier might hamper the sort of just underratedness, I'd say, from Nicolas. We don't underrate him. We just said then, he's one of the best players, the best player on the PlayStation by far. But nobody seems to talk about him. In the Swiss style, I would even say he went under the radar. It was more about Lev Vinker going 5-0. T-Mox turning over a 0-2 record to a 3-2 record. Marcuso, the resurgence of Marcuso. Nicolas just slowly slid under the radar. And now he's in a quarter-final. He's 1-0 up against one of his big rivals this year on the PlayStation 4 in M10Ustun.
Just see some of his scores there along the right-hand side. Obviously, he did lose in round 2 a Swiss-style format. Did Nicolas 5-4 against Lucas from FC Stuttgart. That was back in Swiss style. On the other side of that, Ustun lost 2 games in Swiss style. Round 2 to Dr. Hano. And then in round 5 against Losk Gilles, the Belgian player there. Just approaching that 30th minute mark now. But let's have a word about Ustun for a bit. He might be 1-0 down, but you can't take the fact away. He's having a fantastic season this year in the Global Series. Currently 5th in the Global Series rankings, top of the E-Super League at the moment as well, representing Denmark. Also, here comes that chance for him. Does go out for a goal kick in the end, but he's representing Denmark at the E-Nations Cup next week.
He is indeed. Both of these two players representing their nation, Argentina and Denmark. Let's also not forget the last time in Singapore at the FUT Champions Cup, FIFA Ustun won the event. Maybe, question marks, why did he win the event? Nicolas didn't attend it. Nicolas didn't compete in it. These are questions that are going to be reigning over the head of FIFA Ustun and all the PlayStation players.
Just as his game was announced on stream as well, he was all smiles, seeing that he would be our first game of Super Sunday, Championship Sunday, whatever you want to call it. Some of the other quarterfinal matches, Lev Vinken against Marcuso, Shells of Manchester City in the quarterfinals against Joksan, and then Timox against Maestro there. We'll give you some scores as this attack does come to an end, or maybe chance goes into the back of the net, a drag back into a scoop turn for Neymar, still in possession. The Brazilian there just trying to be hunted down by 2 or 3 players, does go out for a throw-in the end.
Yeah, big performance needed here from Nicolas and Ustun if they want to set up that semi-final tie.
Just a switch all the way over now for Alexandro. Ronaldo very deep there, around the halfway line as well. Jan Cancelo. We'll play back to Ronaldo, try and find that typical combination. We're so used to saying R9 to Cristiano Ronaldo, but unfortunately, hasn't been able to make it happen. Keeper's off his line. Manuel Neuer, sweeper keeper-esque. He hasn't lost that trait in the virtual pitch of FIFA.
As halftime is approaching, I'm going to give you all the other quarterfinals as they are taking place, the scores as they currently stand, and the latest scores from these pivotal quarterfinal ties.
Here's Ustun, chance to equalise. He'll do exactly that. This is going to be a long, old game. Still got a second leg, and we're only in the 40th minute, and these two are all square. 2 powerhouses from the PlayStation 4.
You saw the goalkeeper movement from Nicolas just on that goal. He moved him backwards. That's something that he does very often, does Nicolas. He moves backwards, creates just a little bit more room. You often see the sort of more erratic saves when he does go backwards with the goalkeeper. The other problem is, with goalkeeper movement, you have to be rooted. If you are stood still, that's when you see the sort of wonder saves. When your goalkeeper's moving, sometimes they'll turn away from the ball, sometimes they'll just do the sort of animations that you just don't want to see from your goalkeeper.
Added time of 3 minutes. It was Nicolas who did take the lead just before that 30th minute mark. And here we go. Nicolas, one more chance. Wants to try and go in front. 2-1. This could be the chance for him. Neymar, and he'll do exactly that. Scores down one end for Ustun and straight back down the other for Nicolas. And he's going into the break with a slight advantage, but clearly he is still not happy with how he's playing.
Instant reply from Nicolas, straight through the goalkeeper there. Like he wasn't even there. Neymar hitting the ball. Get your head over it. Low and hard into the back of the net. Team of the year, Neymar, sends the pendulum back into the Argentines' favour. And the rest of the score updates from around the ground as they stand. Lev Vinken 1, Marcuso 1 in quarterfinal number 1. Quarterfinal number 2, M10Ustun 1, Nicolas 2. Shells 1, Joksan 1. And a very narrow lead for Maestro at halftime against Timox.
So great to see the stories there. Timox from 0-2 to a quarter-final for the German, who's up against Maestro. He's been scoring a number of goals, even a few cheeky Mbappe celebrations in there as well, we saw on camera.
You see that every single quarter-final taking place simultaneously on the stage right now.
Look at the quality as well. You know, everyone's been talking about this quality on PlayStation 4, the big names, and you look across the board. I've got it here in front of me. You've got Lev Vinken 6th in the Global Series rankings. You've got Ustun 5th in the Global Series rankings. Nicolas 1st. Joksan 3rd. You know, some of the best players that have made it through to the knockouts. And we often talk about how many points for grand finals, how many points for playoffs. It's the same people making the latter stages in competitions.
I'd even go out on a limb and say every single player on the stage right now has won a tournament in their FIFA career. Just looking down the list, Lev Vinken, Zigo E-Battle. FIFA Ustun last week in Singapore. I should say last tournament in Singapore.
Marcuso, E-Club World Cup.
Shells, the Berlin champion on the PlayStation 4. T-Mux, 5-time German champion.
Got Maestro, multiple E-Ligen wins for him.
Joxan, let's not forget about him at the beginning of the year. Paris Games Week and FUT Champs Cup 1. Huge performances there. PS4 champion in both of those two events. So stacked, this PS4 bracket.
And so many tournaments won by a number of these players, whether it's console finals, cross-console finals in their own country or on the big stage as part of the Global Series. Off the post, surely he's not going to be missing that. A gift for Nicolas. 3 goals to 1 now, and he'll be taking those chances all day long.
Right place, right time for Nicolas there. Turned, got the shot away. It bounced off the post into the path of Ruud Gullit, and a desperation late tackle from Virgil van Dijk wasn't enough to take the ball away from 94 rated prime icon moment Ruud Gullit. And that's, I thought we were going to play on there for a second, but a rough tackle there on FIFA Ustun.
Let's have a chat about Ustun for a minute, because we keep, you know, kind of being critical on his defensive side of his game. He has, oh, there's could be a penalty shout.
Free kick just on the edge.
But we'll talk about after this free kick does come in, and we can actually be able to see some of his results again, Ustun, in just a few seconds from those Swiss-style matches. Mbappe just stops on the ball, tries to pull away for the shot off the post. The pressure is clearly on for Nicolas. But about Ustun, a fantastic attacking player, probably the best one in the on the PlayStation. But defensively, he's always outscoring his opponents, which is great. But there comes a time where some games you won't be able to.
We see that on the right-hand side just there. 36 goals scored, 32 goals conceded. That's the player that he is. He's playing in that 4-4-2. He gets the ball wide. He's got multiple different tools in his kit that he can hurt you with. And you see some of the high-scoring games there. 6-5, 5-4 loss, 4-2 victory against Lucas, 9-5 win against Sebas Ortiz. Although we talk about the attacking play from Nicolas, he does have a side in him where he can see out the game. Against Zazinho, he saw out the game. It was a very low-scoring affair. He switched into 4-2-3-1 and did something he never think he'd do before. He kept hold of the ball and made sure that he secured the PlayStation 4 Championship in Singapore and was the best PS4 player over the weekend.
It was just a very smart performance in the end. Here he comes now, a chance for Nicolas to extend his lead. He's currently 3-1 up, and you can see the difference in score lines there of how Nicolas, he still wins games, but he grinds the games out. Look, some of those big results, especially his one, a 3-1 win against Ustun. I think that was back in one of the previous events where they met.
A number of Nicolas's results over the past. I think one of the biggest sort of scores that I actually saw from him was that cross-console final against Lev Vinken. I should say against MS Desari. He beat Lev Vinken 3-1 in the round prior to that in the console final. And then beat Desari, what, 7-4 in the cross-console final.
I say there's been so much competitive FIFA this year. They've matched up a number of times, especially in the knockouts, but it's always been Nicolas that's had the last laugh, and especially in this first leg at the moment, it's still following suit. He leads by 3 goals to 1, and it seems like he's the person that can score all the goals now. Here's the results of Nicolas. This is what I was referring to, how he can grind games out. 3-2 win, 2-1 win. Ustun surely going to finish that one. Yes, big goal for him. And a chance to get back in this game. Only 1 goal behind now. And these are the quarter-final results, at this competition. See Maestro 3-0 up at this point in time. Shells 3-1 up against Joxan, making a statement here in London.
Big performances. Lev Vinken, the only player who is perfect so far, 6-0 in his record. That's his 5 Swiss results, and then a round of 16 victory also for Lev Vinken. I feel like we've not talked enough about Maestro. Like, some of his results, he actually just put the sword to Dr. Ahano in that round of 16 match. And people are looking at Ahano and saying he could have a nice little run in this tournament. Maestro, we've seen him after his games. He comes down near the talent room, has a little chat. All right, guys, I'm going. See you tomorrow. That's it. He's done. He won his game. He got off.
He even came and grabbed the snack a few times as well in between games. We said, help yourself to anything you want, as long as you'll be ready to compete in your next game. And he went 4-1 in Swiss style and currently 13th in the Global Series rankings. 1,597 points to his name. So if he gets through this stage, he'll guarantee himself 625 more points and $7,500 minimum, with the opportunity to go on to that next step and then get yourself in that 850 bracket.
Because of the sort of range of different Global Series ranking positions we've got in this last 8, you've got someone like T-Mox who's, what, 50th? And then you've got number 1 in Nicolas. Points mean different things for different players. Nicolas probably not even that bothered at the minute about the Global Series ranking points. I think he's more about the accolade of lifting a FUT Champions Cup, about being able to call himself not only the best player on PlayStation, but the best player in the world at the current time, if he was to go on and do that. Let's not forget as well, in the game that Tex won in Barcelona, who was he playing? Nicolas. 15, 14 months ago, when Tex burst onto the scene, it was Nicolas stood in his way in that cross-console final. They've had a very similar journey. Nicolas just started, because he's older, he started earlier. He was in the FIFA 17 FIWC qualifiers in Los Angeles. He then went through to the grand final in arguably the most entertaining competitive FIFA match of all time against Mo Aubameyang.
I remember sitting there when we did that event in Los Angeles, Richard, I just saw someone called Nicolas99FC, and he was like 7-0 in the qualifiers. This was in Los Angeles back in 2017 on the build-up to the FIWC it was back then. And now, what, 2 years on from that, everybody knows who Nicolas is as he comes forward to try and create the last attack of this match. The ball will fall kindly to him as well. Eusebio into Modric. Put the run, Eusebio's making the left-hand side. Doesn't want to use it. Instead, just try and be patient with the ball. Keep possession hill-to-hill from Messi, the Argentine. Can he be the player to influence the attack? He does go out in the end for a goal kick, and that will probably do us all here for leg number 1.
To get his big breakout moment, Nicolas, at the playoffs. He got that championship moment at the playoffs when he did go on and win that event. He got top 4 at the FIWC Grand Finals, losing to Marcuso, who was then playing for Manchester City.
There we go. I was going to say, will Ustun be able to get one more chance there? In the end, that is leg 1 completed. 3 goals to 2, but still a lot left to do for both of these players. It's great that Ustun's been able to get himself out of this game. Only 1 goal behind in the end.
Let's have a look around the grounds after the first leg is coming to a close at a number of these games. Lev Vinken 2-1 up against Marcuso. You know the M10Ustun score, that's 3-2. And nobody's stopping the Shells train. 4-1 up right now in that first leg against Joksan. Same with Maestro. 3-0 up in his game against T-Mox. That game has been concluded for the first leg.
Incredible stuff. Let's go and have a look at some highlights in a second. And from what we saw there, 5 goals were scored. This was the opening chance. Neymar with the shot. Look at the little bit of goalkeeper movement there. A bit of the guessing game going forward. However, Nicolas did get us underway. Nicolas scored the first goal. A few elasticos there. That was a half-hearted chance for him.
Whipped into that near post. Great save from David De Gea. Stopping the ball from beating him at his near post. And you see this lovely wake-up play here. Neymar smashed past the goalkeeper at the near post with a green time shot.
Ustun did reply though. Ball came in here to Neymar. Just watch. Time green under the keeper. No chance for Manuel Neuer there.
Just on the stroke of half-time, it was another opportunity for Nicolas and Mbappe on the edge of the box, teasing that defence out, played across to Neymar again, and that opportunity was capitalised on. 2-1, Nicolas went into the break leading.
And he did extend his lead as well, Richard. Went 3-1 up. This was the chance. Hullet into Ronaldo, hit the post, and lucky enough, Hullet, right place, right time for the Dutchman. There was one more chance, though, for Ustun. We thought that was going to be a
looked
penalty.
like it in the box.
It did look like it, but maybe he got pushed out of the box and somehow was not given in the end. Corner nearly came out of this, but instead just saved or back into the path of Ronaldo. A little scoop up, and somehow just about survived that one.
That certainly looked like it were in the box. That foul there did go down as a free kick on the edge of the box. A nice through ball for Ustun. He makes no mistake beating the goalkeeper at his near post, and 3-2 the scoreline coming into this second leg between the Iceman, Nicolas99FC, representing Basel.
On the other side of that, you've got Ustun representing M10, Mesut Özil's esports organisation. But back to that point about Nicolas, I felt like last year he needed to win something, because it's great getting to all these events. It's great getting to all the latter stages in events. And he's picked up a number of LQE wins this year. He's got himself an E-Club World Cup as well. There's just something about a FUT Champions Cup that I just feel like he just needs on his resume. He just needs that. Get his name in that trophy.
Just having that legacy. You're on the trophy forever. You're always going to look back at the names engraved on that trophy. Rocky. Going back to FIFA 17, coming into FIFA 18, Tex, Dasari, FIFA 19, Tex again, the first ever player to get his name 2 times on the trophy. Dasari followed that up in December. Dullen Mike broke the Dasari and Tex battle and got his name on it in January. And it swung back to Tex in February and in March. Atlanta and Singapore, he was victorious. Who will be victorious in April?
Here we go, the first chance of the game, and it's gone straight into the back of the net as well. The smallest bit of movement on the edge of the box, just to try and play games with the goalkeeper. Neymar gets probably one of the best shots out of it as well. Time green, no chance for Manuel Neuer. Through the legs of Vieira as well, and saved into the net.
Just didn't get enough on it, did the goalkeeper. You saw the goalkeeper movement. He moved him the right way. But that left-footed strike, that 5-star weak foot green time shot from Neymar, just too strong, just too powerful for the goalkeeper. You can get both hands to it, but if they're not strong and it's not an effective save. When you time it green, it'll sometimes just go straight through your goalkeeper, like they're not even there.
Well, it tried to just dink that one past Patrick Vieira there. Unfortunately, could not get the conviction on that one. However, as we've been talking about some of the names that these players have picked up, the Iceman, probably one of the first ones to do so. See, that is Nicolas99FC, the Iceman, no emotion from him. The first time we saw emotion was back in Amsterdam for that playoff victory last year, where I think he was in tears. It was just basically him, I think it just hit him like, okay, I'm really this good now.
Yeah, a number of nicknames for the players that have been put to their game style, put to their name.
Here's a chance now, ball roll into a pass along the box. Does just get punted away by the left foot of Van Dijk. This attack isn't over yet though. Neymar trying to just find a way past Sergio Ramos. A drag back and a scoop turn unfortunately wasn't the method to try and get past him. Ball falls back to Ronaldo. He turns and strikes it, but strikes straight into a body of another defender in the way for Ustun.
Can't forget one of the first names.
Oh, wow, that feat to pull away from his man as well.
Beautiful
Silky
goal.
FIFA from Nicolas. Ustun's in shock. How's he pulled away from his man there?
He looks perplexed, does Ustun. It was quite a fortunate break of play for him, in all honesty, that he managed to win the ball back so high up the pitch, but he just took the risk shooting with Ronaldo on his left foot. Every single shot that Nicolas has taken has been timed green in this series so far. I think one of my favourite nicknames, the King Fisher. Ice Vogel.
Ice Vogel. He was actually at this tournament as well, but unfortunately could not get himself through Swiss style fun. But when he walked past me, he was like, I'll be back.
That's the mentality that I like to see.
See the King Fisher representing Schalke. Part of Stark Esports as well. He's kind of one of the big standout players last year, especially at the Gfinity Elite Series as well.
You can't forget he won Manchester on the PlayStation.
A loss to the hands of M10Ustun, who is still in the competition alongside 7 other players in our Xbox quarterfinals coming up after this round, but we've got a very long way before we are there.
Yeah, you'll see Dasari in action against FaZe TAS, Rogue versus FaZe, in a huge quarterfinal on the Xbox.
Neymar, half turn for Ronaldo, half drag back. Oh, a little scoop away from his man as well, and unfortunately could not get that space he needed for the entertainer, as he's called, of M10Ustun.
In fact, whenever we see a little bit of Ustun highlights, we should play the Entertainer by Scott Joplin, Over the Top. Very famous piece of music, big fan of it.
Back to goal for Neymar. Oh, no, he's in the post again. It's a guessing game once again for Ustun. Just got to go back and scratch his head and go, was that the right decision to go all the way alongside that? Because he matched it. Nicolas matched it. Even if it hit the post, the keeper still dived that way.
The thing is, with the goalkeeper movement, if you don't move your goalkeeper, you're just making the decision up for your opponent to shoot with the normal shot that they would usually do. The normal finesse shot, the normal timed green across the goalkeeper with the low driven. When you add that goalkeeper movement in, you're almost playing a game of chicken. Who's going to move first? Is it going to be the goalkeeper? Is it going to be the striker? Who's going to crack under the pressure first?
That's two chances in the opening 30 minutes now. He will get another one. A ball roll or two. Croqueta into the finish as well. He can shake his head all he wants, but he's back into the game now, Ustun. And what a finish it was.
Really, really fantastic goal from Nicolas. Ball roll into the La Croqueta. And like I said, when you're taking the shot out of the skill move animation, it just seems so much more effective on goal. I'll tell you a player who has been effective in their approach in this quarter-final. That is Shells. He's 5-1 up on the quarter-final against Joksan.
Manchester City flying again in another competition. Shells 5-1 up against Joksan. Maestro 3-1 up against Timox. The Frenchman leads there from Vitality. And it is Lev Vinken, who is just in front, narrowly in front, 3-2 against Marcuso.
Marcuso just scored in that game as well, so you could potentially see a swing going in the Danish man's favour.
R9 now. Here's Nicolas again. Far as the edge of the box and going to try and build something forward. Save nearly into his own goal. You saw the expression off Ustun there. He thought the keeper nearly saved into the back of his own net.
Such an end-to-end game, this.
Croqueta or two away from his man for Nicolas. Seems like he's adding these skills into the way he's playing now, a combination of them.
I think he's always had the skills. They've just not been that effective in reality. Whereas now, with how people defend, if you can actually get at a man and beat a man with them using their AI defensive work, the Croqueta and the Ostico are such effective skill moves to beat that AI.
Fake shot back inside to the shot, saved. Both keepers earning their keep here, working so hard, especially down in Nicolas's goal. Manuel Neuer.
You see, he's actually, he just edited his ultra defensive there. He's on ultra defensive right now, is M10Ustun. We can't really tell what the game plan is unless he goes into it and shows the custom tactics in the play instructions, but he has switched on to ultra defensive from the get-go in this second leg. Well, we are at a sort of pause in the game. Shells extended his lead to 6-1 now against Joksan. Maestro still leading 3-1.
Does come in. Ronaldo against Ronaldo in the air. Nicolas Ronaldo just does enough, or does he? Ball forward kindly. Oh! That's prime Ustun for you there. Back in front for the first time as well across the two legs. The Great Dane strikes in London and strikes with one hell of a finish.
Prime time Ustun. I was wondering what he was actually doing. He sort of like pinged the ball from one wing all the way to the other. Ramos managed to win the header, and R9's come onto that with such velocity. He's timed it green.
Wait a minute.
No real conviction on the strike there. But it was just such a nice strike. When you time it green, he's not got a lot of time to actually hit that green for the button input itself to hit circle, then circle again.
Ustun again. Look at the attack. He is not messing around at all. He's thinking back to those past quarterfinals and where he's lost out to the hands of Nicolas. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. And that will be playing in his mind. He'll be doing everything he can.
But he's also lost in this situation a lot of times where he's been leading by 1, by 2 goals. He's lost out as halftime does take us into a 3-1 lead in this second leg. That's a 5-4 lead on aggregate if you are just joining us. It's the PlayStation quarter-finals. We have the Xbox quarter-finals coming up very, very shortly indeed.
You can just see the chances there and where the goals have come from for Ustun. 2 outside the box, very close to each other as well. Just to the left, hit the semicircle.
94% passing accuracy as well from Ustun. A lot of the time people talk about how he plays very direct and sometimes plays a little bit too direct and he'll lose out the ball because he's trying to score all the time. 94% pass accuracy shows that he's smarter than I think people give him credit for in terms of his in-game FIFA knowledge.
And that's something that he's got better on. He's improved on it. That's why he made a cross-console final in Singapore. That's why he's top of the E-Super League at the moment. And also, the factory will be going to the E-Nations Cup next week, another major, where he'll be representing Denmark. See, part of the team alongside Marcuso and Agger. Here comes the corner, punched away by De Gea. And Van Dijk says, you know what, I'm joining this attack or not, just going to get rid of the ball straight away. Make sure he's not out of position.
So a massive cheer from Maestro. He extended his lead to 4-1, the Frenchman. France versus Germany in that game right there. Maestro versus Timo.
Seems like maybe too big of an ask for Timox now. The dream story might have to come to an end. He's already got 450 Global Series points to his name. Well, that would have been cheeky over the top of his head there of Rio Ferdinand at the back.
Yeah, nice little bit of a spin out wide for Ustun.
Here we go, back to goal, Ustun! Taking a stand and taking a lead by 2 goals on the aggregate scoreline. Massive goal in the implications of this game to turn away from his man. R9 doing R9 type things. And that will put him in front 4-1 in this game, and an aggregate scoreline of 6-4.
Gives him a little bit of breathing room now, Ustun. You saw that was probably the biggest reaction to one of the goals that he has scored in this game. Gives him a little bit more freedom to go into that attacking mindset now. So if he can kill the game off, as we've seen in the past, where he's beat people 9-4, 8-4, this is the goal margin that it allows him to do that with now. He's got 2 goals, almost as sort of a cushion to fall back onto.
However, there is still 30 minutes of FIFA time left to play, and we know Nicolas can strike. You saw the idea there, 2 occasions, it was blocked. Second shot coming in from Modric, heavy touch from R9, ball rolls away from his man.
Yeah, the 1-2 in and around the box was very, very accurate. Just Ustun getting bodies in the way. Doesn't matter how you defend, it could be ugly defending, as long as you get the ball away from your goal. If in doubt, get it out in a quarter-final.
Ronaldo into Mbappe now, a drag back for him, cuts back inside, blocked again. Everybody back, everybody defending for Ustun.
Is Ustun about to break the Nicolas quarter-final curse?
Got 25 minutes or just a little longer to hold on to this scoreline. And there are all the little mistakes that he wants to go his way. Into a pause now for Nicolas. I'm sure he'll be making a few changes on the other side of that. Just securing things up at the back.
I like this. This is exactly what the same thing that he did against Zazinho in Singapore. When he had to see the game out, he brought on Kante. And he just strengthened up that midfield. You see Kante and Ronaldinho, I think the 2 substitutions coming on there. Messi as well. Also involved for Ustun. I think Ronaldinho, he tried summing him on, but he ran out of substitutions in the end.
I saw 2 subs as well coming on for Nicolas there. We'll give you an update on who those are.
Kante and Messi, the 2 players involved. Eusebio's come on for Nicolas, just in the centre of the field there.
There he is, out to Messi, who is also fresh. to be out on that left-hand side. Trying to offer some kind of support for the Argentine. Eusebio now. Again, rushing things is Nicolas.
The best player, the best Argentine player to have ever played the game. In Messi, looking to salvage some sort of comeback for the best Argentine FIFA player to ever play the game. What a story that would be if Messi's the catalyst to getting back into the game, but that time's ticking.
You can see how tight possession is as well between the two players. Little scoop into the cross to the back post for Ronaldo.
Great
on target.
save. It weren't timed green, that was the only thing really. If he's timed that green, I think Ronaldo gets more over it, and really, you see the neck muscles bulging.
This could be it. Oh, no, this will be painful. Oh! The Argentine scoring against Nicolas. And if anything, could that be the curse broken, the quarter-final curse for M10Ustun?
Great finish from Messi. Kept his composure when he got into that area. Timed it green, smashed it past him, and what a statement in this second leg. 5-1 victory in this second leg against the best player on PlayStation 4 in Nicolas.
Ranked #1 is Nicolas, over 6,000 Global Series ranking points, but that doesn't matter to Ustun. He's going to try and keep on adding the pressure to that top spot. However, let's just calm down for a minute. 2 goals behind now, not 3 anymore for Nicolas. A little sip of water, because he's got 10 more minutes to try and find 2 goals. And we've seen Ustun before.
Just as his replays are concluding, going into the final stages of this set of matchups that we're seeing right here in the quarterfinals. Little update, Lev Vinken 4-2 up against Marcuso, latest scoreline. Shells 7-1 against Joxan, latest scoreline. And Maestro 5-2 against Teamox. That looks like a full-time result.
Yeah, it does indeed, Rich. It looks like he's walking away from his chair, and that'll be the Frenchman for Vitality, booking his place in the semi-finals and jumping up to 625 Global Series ranking points and $7,500 to his name there.
Great confidence as well going into next weekend with the E-Nations Cup. Maestro
Mbappe
with France.
Into Kante, a fellow Frenchman involved. How painful was that? Messi not again.
Oh, he's shanked it wide.
A scoop turn to get away from the man, and then a yellow time finish. If it's time green, it's going into the back of the net. The keeper was moved and everything.
6 minutes for Nicolas. If he does this and forces extra time, I wouldn't put it past him.
He's definitely got it in him as the Iceman. Well, that time is going to keep on ticking down. You can just see there.
If in doubt, get it out.
The coach of Ustun behind him, just with his hands up, just saying, don't give away possession like that. See, the best players just try and keep the ball. Really well done, Van Dijk again. He's out of position, though.
Maldini stepped out. And that is about as big as a goal right there, that tackle from Maldini. Because not only has it stopped Nicolas from scoring, but also he's got the ball back with, what, 30 seconds left in real life time. This game is over. 2 minutes of added time. Ustun will be going through, and the #1 seed Nicolas will be crashing out of the competition in the quarterfinals.
Well, this PlayStation side has been really stacked, full of talent, full of players in the top 10 of the Global Series rankings, and smiles all round for M10Ustun. The curse is broken, and he's into the semi-finals. What a result, and you can see exactly what it means to him. A point proven.